Hello friends, and welcome back to the channel, where today I wanted to spend a few minutes talking through my rank 4 7-star options. So Kabam on the most recent live stream announced the Epic of Pain quest, and one of the rewards for exploring this quest is a guaranteed rank 4 gem of a random class. And in addition, if you complete just one path in the Epic of Pain, you get a tier 7 basic catalyst, and if you've also completed the most recent set of Karina challenges for Necropolis, you should have one from there too. I think you need 3 for a rank 4, and there's almost certainly going to be one made available in whatever sale they have going on later this month as well. So theoretically, if you do everything in this quest and you have the Karina challenges done, you could have possibly 2 rank 4 7 stars by the end of February. So wanted to spend a few minutes, like I said here, talking through my options in each class, kind of what I'm thinking, who I'm thinking about ranking up. Alright, let's start off today with definitely the easiest class for me to choose a rank 4 option in, and that is going to be the Science class. Now, if you followed me or if you follow the channel for any length of time, you already know there is only one choice here for a first rank 4 in the Science class, and that is going to be Void. Void is going to rank 4 this month one way or the other. If I get the Science gem, I will use it on him without question. If I instead am able to rank him up via catalysts between my completion run, and if they offer tier 7 in any meaningful amount via the sale, I will take him up with the catalyst. So life is too short not to rank up your favorite champs, and Void has been my favorite champ for quite a long time in MCOC. Now, one scenario that is possible that I do want to kind of plan for is that I could rank him up via the catalysts and then pull a Science gem from Exploration, which means my first 2 rank 4s would end up being in the same class, which isn't ideal, but it also isn't like terrible either, because I have a lot of really solid options in the Science class beyond Void here. So Photon is probably the one I'm leaning toward the most, because if I rank up Void, I'm really going to want to use him on Attack in Alliance War, which is the mode that I'm most focused on. So I would kind of feel bad like ranking up 2 attackers right away to rank 4. And if I ranked up Photon to rank 4, who's a great two-way champ, I do love her offensively, but she would almost certainly get stuck on defense, which I think would be a pretty fair trade-off. Beyond that, Titania, I think, is objectively maybe the best Science champ in the game still. A rank 4 Titania would be so awesome. And kind of like the other candidates I'm thinking of are Luke Cage and Deathless She-Hulk. Luke Cage, in particular, again, going back to Alliance War, which is the mode that I play the most, he is just so strong against almost every Mystic defender. And he's been Tactic this month, but even when the Tactic is over after this season, I still think he is going to get a ton of play time in Alliance War for me. And then Deathless She-Hulk, I'm kind of on the fence about. I really do enjoy playing her. She is so strong, great damage, great utility, but I'm not sure how much play she is going to get after this season is over. We assign her quite a bit in SSX, but I do think that a lot of her assignments currently are based on her being a tactic attacker, and I'm very interested in seeing how much use she is going to get from us after this season is over. So I'm kind of leaning away from her despite me liking her quite a bit. If I had to choose immediately right now, it would probably be Photon, but I would be hard-pressed not to pick like Titania or Luke. Alright, let's move on to the skill class, and I think there are 2 really strong options for me in this class, and those are the first 2 champs here, Black Cat and Chieelth. Now, Black Cat and I have a bit of a history together, a bit of a love-hate relationship, if you will. I think she is like a SIG 100, 120, natural SIG 120 there. If you followed the channel for a while, you know that I pulled her a bunch of times from the Loyalty Crystal, trying to get a 7-star Void. Every time I would open one, it would always be Black Cat, and that's why her SIG is up so high. Black Cat is a champion that I really like to use. She just plays really fluid, she has fantastic damage, and her ability accuracy reduction is among the best in the game. I use her for Spot all the time, I use her for Photon all the time, I use her for Thing all the time. Just a really strong champ and fantastic utility. Now, Chieelth is a champion that I probably use more often than Black Cat, so maybe if I had to choose between the 2 of them, I might be leaning towards Chieelth a little bit, because again, as I mentioned before, my mode that I'm focused on primarily right now is War, and Chieelth is definitely going to get more use in War currently than Black Cat. So maybe 51% Chieelth, 49% Black Cat. That being said, Black Cat Sig is much higher, so she would probably be a prestige play if I was interested in that. I think Cheel Sig is pretty low, it's only like 20 or 40. Now the other two champs that are maybe like dark horses here are Attuma and Mole Man. Now Attuma is a champion that I do like to use, but I almost never use him in war. I only get to use him in like the occasional quest here and there. So if I used a gem on Attuma, it would really just be like a pure defender option. And I talked a minute ago about how, I don't necessarily want to rank up two pure attackers. So like a rank 4 Void and a rank 4 Attuma would be a decent pairing. Now when it comes to Mole Man, Mole Man very strong, very good in war too. But if I took a Mole Man up to rank 4 before Nagase did, he'd probably hunt me down and kill me. And when it comes to war, if we have a war map that really demands a bunch of Mole Man fights, we usually give those fights to Nagase. So I end up only using Mole Man like sporadically. Like this season, I've been using him for the null on 4B a lot. I think I've taken that fight probably 3 or 4 times with Mole Man, and it's a really, really easy fight with Mole Man. But again, I would probably lean more towards Black Cat or Cheel before ranking up Mole Man. Alright, let's move on to the Mutant class, which I think for me is the class that I am the least enthusiastic about potentially getting a rank 4 in. I have a lot of okay options here, but not one that really stands out to me as like, yeah, this is definitely the champion that I want to rank up. And I know you're probably sitting there saying, look, Onslaught is sitting right there. He is the easiest possible choice you can make for a Mutant rank 4. But as you can see, Onslaught is currently unduped. And I kind of have this weird thing about ranking up champions to the highest available rarity when they're unduped. Fully understanding, of course, that he doesn't need the dupe. But it would give me a little bit of pause before using a Mutant gem on him. Now, we could always dupe him between now and finishing Exploration. I could also theoretically use that generic Awakening gem on him, even though he doesn't need the dupe, and I would really be hard-pressed to make that choice for him. If push comes to shove, I would probably go ahead and rank up Onslaught anyways, but I don't think I would feel like excited about it, if that makes sense. A couple of other options we can talk through here. Mr. Sinister is an interesting one. He is at Sig like 3. I used a Glorious Games Awakening gem on him a little bit ago. And there is currently no other way to get the dupe on him. So if I went with him, I would probably want to commit to the Sigs. He is a very strong attacker, very good defender given the right node. And if your opponent doesn't have a proper counter for him. Other options here I think would just be for fun. Danny Moonstar is a very strong champion. I don't have her up at like a high enough Sig. She would be a prestige play too if I ranked her up to rank 4. Negasonic is a champion who I don't really think needs to be at rank 4. She does everything I need her to do at rank 3 and does it perfectly fine. Storm would be pure enjoyment. I don't use Storm pretty much anywhere except for like the occasional Karina challenge here and there. But I am like really curious, like rank 4 Storm's damage output, especially with the Horseman pre-fight. It's got to be absolutely disgusting. But practically speaking, I don't think I could justify a rank 4 Storm right away. Similarly, Deadpool, I think he probably does everything that I need him to do at rank 3. Very similar to Negasonic. One option that I could maybe be convinced about is Iceman, who is going to be made available later this month, as you can see in that Valentine's Day sale. If I got Iceman and got him duped somehow from whatever keys or boxes or whatever, rank 4 Iceman sounds terrifying. Like a max Sig Iceman. So I could be convinced to do Iceman, but if I had to choose right now from the champs that I actually currently own, it would probably be between Onslaught or Mr. Sinister, and then I would have to find some way to get Onslaught awakened and then Sig him or Mr. Sinister up. Alright, let's move on to the Cosmic class, which I think for me, more so than any of the other classes, presents the most difficult choice for a first rank 4. And that's because there are several champions on screen right now that I would take to rank 4 pretty much without hesitation. The problem is that if I were forced to choose one of them with a Cosmic rank up gem, that would be like a nightmare scenario for me. I'm a person who is frequently paralyzed by indecision, and if I actually did pull a Cosmic gem, it would take me days, if not like a week or more, before I would actually sit down, make a decision, and then like be happy with that decision. Now, having said that, I do think there are a pair of champions on screen who are kind of ahead of the pack, and those champs are Thanos and Serpent, and that's because of what I talked about earlier with kind of wanting to pair either a strong defender or a really strong two-way champion with Void, and I think Thanos and Serpent, more so than anybody else on screen here, really fit that description the most. Now, Thanos is a champion that I took to right away. He is incredibly powerful, a lot of fun to play, which is important to me as well. He's also already at max Sig, which means I wouldn't have to invest anything further into him. I could use those Sig stones on other champions, which is a huge positive mark in his column. Serpent is a champion who I really like to use offensively. I still think offensive Serpent is somehow underrated, and that he's kind of classed as just a defender by most people. I prefer using him on offense to placing him on defense, and I use him whenever and wherever I can. He is only at like Sig 40 or Sig 60. I would be okay committing Sig stones to him if I chose him for rank 4. Now, the other champions here are kind of all like in this muddled middle, right? If you follow the channel, you know how big of a Deathless King Groot fan I am. He is at rank 3. He will be max Sig when I finish the last Karina challenge. I'm going to put all the 100 Deathless Sig stones into him. That'll get him up to 200. Scream is a champion. Again, I took to right away. She is so much fun to play, so strong in war and in battlegrounds. Just a classic nuke option. I wouldn't hesitate at all taking her to rank 4. Medusa is probably next on that list. Since her buff, I have been playing Medusa pretty much whenever I can. Her easy access to Armor Shattered and True Accuracy, really, really good utility. But when those Fury buffs hit, she hits like an absolute freight train, and it is really impressive to see how strong she is now compared to how she was before. And then there are a bunch of others who, are kind of in consideration, but are a bit below the rest of the ones that I've already talked about. Gladiator, a champion that I really like and have a lot of fun with. Venom is a champion also that I would consider at rank 4, although, similar to what we talked about earlier with like Negasonic, I feel like he does everything that I need him to do at rank 3, and rank 4 would probably be a little bit of overkill. And then Null, I think, would be the other one. Null is an incredibly good champion, one of the best, if not the best champion with ouchies in the game, and I don't think I would mind having him at rank 4 either. But, and again, there are a lot of other good champs here too. Beta Ray Bill would be a great rank 4, Vox would be a good rank 4, Angela would be a dark horse candidate for rank 4. Just the Cosmic class has so many fantastic options that you really can't go wrong with any of them. But if I had to pick right here, right now, I would probably go with Thanos because he's already at max Sig. He fits my need for a good two-way champ to pair with Void. And it would hurt my soul not to rank up like Deathless King Groot or Scream. But I think Thanos is probably the smart play. Unless somebody in the battle group was also going to do Thanos, and then I would probably go in a different direction. But right here, right now, if I had to choose, it would go to Thanos. All right, next up is the Tech class, and similar to Science, I think there's one clear-cut option for me here, and it should be no surprise to you that I would go with Ironheart here. I know that Ironheart has little to no defensive value, but if I pulled a Tech gem, there is absolutely no way that I could pass up on a rank 4 Ironheart. She's one of my top 5 favorite champions in the game. I use her all the time in war, in battlegrounds, in questing, wherever and whenever I can use Ironheart, I choose to use her. She is already at max Sig, so she would already have like the maximum investment required. Just so much fun to play, and I want to reiterate what I said earlier about ranking up your favorite champions when you get the opportunity to do so. Whenever I get asked for advice on rank ups, I almost always respond with, who do you enjoy using the most? Because if you just rank up based on a tier list or rank up based on a single game mode, you're probably not going to have as much fun as you could be having. And this is a game, and the goal of the game is to have fun. So rank up your favorite champions. And for me, my favorite Tech champ right now is Ironheart. And that's really only because 7-star Viv Vision doesn't exist. If we had a 7-star Viv Vision right now, I would be having like a major crisis trying to choose between her and Ironheart. But I don't have that option right now, and so Ironheart would absolutely be the choice for Tech. Last but certainly not least, let's talk through the Mystic class. And I think for me, Mystic comes down to 2 champions with kind of like a dark horse third champion in the mix as well. And the two prime contenders are Kushala and America Chavez. Now, when it comes to Kushala, talking about the fun factor, she is a champion that I have a lot of fun playing. She is incredibly powerful. I love that she has different ways of dealing damage as a Mystic. She's not totally reliant on Nullify. She can also place that Soul Barb with her special 2, so she has a couple of different ways of melting opponents. Now, if there is a downside to her, if you even want to call it that, it's that we have several very experienced Kushala players in my War Battle group, including the person who designed her. So when it comes to assigning Kushala fights in Alliance War, we tend to favor those who have the most experience with her. And I honestly can't recall if I've ever been assigned a Kushala fight before, but you better believe if I took her to rank 4, I would be assigning myself some Kushala fights. Another huge mark that kind of puts her ahead of the other two is that Kushala is a tactic attacker for next season. But on the other hand, that could also mean that she would be facing some bans. So I could easily see myself taking her up to rank 4 and then her being banned for 12 wars and then blacklisted in the following season. So, you know, kind of that gives me a little bit of pause there. America Chavez is a champion that I will stand by saying is a top 5 Mystic champion in the game. Her unique form of power control and power reversal with her negative zone dimension is just so strong, and I really still think not enough people appreciate how strong her utility is and how powerful of a champion she is. I get comments on my America Chavez guide pretty frequently talking about how, you know, I didn't know how strong she was until I watched this guide. I was using her improperly, and now that I know how to use her, she is way better than I thought. There are a lot of people who, you know, continue to beat the drum on how good America Chavez is. I do that. I know Vega is a huge fan of America Chavez as well. So she would be another really close candidate to Kushala for my first rank 4 Mystic. Now, the dark horse candidate that I wanted to talk about here is Isophine, who is a champion that I really like. I still think she is probably the easiest Serpent counter in the game. And I think the benefit of ranking her up to rank 4 is that there are going to be rank 4 Serpents probably in every single war starting next season. Somebody's going to have a rank 4 Serpent. It's almost guaranteed. So having a champion who can easily counter him, you know, depending on the node, of course, at an equal rank also is really important. Now, Isophine is not tactic next season, but Serpent isn't a tactic defender either. So, you know, again, depending on the node where he's placed, there are some nodes that kind of prohibit her from taking him. But on various places on the map, Isophine is a really strong option. And having an equal rank Isophine to take on the rank 4 Serpents, I think, would be a really strong decision. But that being said, I think when all is said and done, I would probably lean mostly towards Kushala, just because she is just so cool, so strong, and I have the most fun using her. But I would, it would be a tough choice between her and Chavez, but we'd have to see what the rest of the battle group looks like as well, because I know, like, if DLL pulls a Mystic Gem, he would probably rank up Kushala as well, and I don't really think we need 2 rank 4 Kushalas right away. So, if he got Mystic and I got Mystic, I would probably let him have the Kushala, and then I would go with, like, Chavez or Isophine. Folks, that's going to do it for this one. Hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments below who you are thinking about taking to rank 4 in every class, and maybe which class gem you are hoping to pull the most from your Epic of Pain rewards. I always find it interesting to see, you know, people's opinions on champions, especially those that are different from mine, you know, kind of which champions people favor, especially if they don't favor the same ones that I do. Really would like to hear that from you, so be sure to leave me a comment below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe so you don't miss out on the next video. And as always, thank you very much for watching. See you again next time.